Just checking. Are you dead? Are you the walking dead? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei Bob. And I'm just here to tell you a story. Don't believe a word I say. This is all for your entertainment's sake. It means nothing because nothing means anything. And to quote Saint Rudy Giuliani, there is no such thing as truth. Quote unquote. Fox News. Breaking news. Giuliani says there is no truth. And Donald Trump, 180 degrees, it's his lie. Let's show Joe Biden because he's no better than a used car salesman.
Former President Donald Trump surrendering to federal authorities in Miami, Florida today to face charges for retaining and mishandling classified documents, including top secret information about U.S. nuclear weapons. In recent days, Trump and many of his supporters have condemned the charges using inflammatory language. Ahead of Trump's arraignment, Miami Police Chief Manny Morales said law enforcement officials are preparing for the possibility of violence by far-right extremists outside Miami's federal courthouse.
Make no mistake about it, we're taking this event extremely serious. We know that there is a potential of things taking a turn for the worst, but that's not the Miami way.
Trump, who's currently the front-runner for the Republican Party's 2024 presidential nominations, planning to fly to his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey, after his Florida arraignment to deliver remarks this evening. After headlines, we'll have the latest on the federal indictment against Trump. We'll speak with Ruth Ben-Ghiat, expert on fascism and authoritarianism. In Ukraine, at least 10 people were killed, more than 24 injured overnight as Russia launched a massive missile attack on the central city of Kryvyi Rih. Victims included residents of a partially collapsed 5-story apartment building where rescue crews said people could still be trapped under rubble. Ukraine's military, meanwhile, says it's retaken 7 settlements in the Donetsk and Zaporizhia regions in a counteroffensive over the past week. NATO's opened its largest ever aerial war games in Germany. The military alliance says some 10,000 personnel from 25 countries are taking part in drills involving 250 warplanes. Non-NATO nations, Japan and Sweden, are participating. The war games opened as French President Emmanuel Macron welcomed German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and
What does all this war mean? This means we're going to war. Not with Russia, not with China. With aliens. Yep, you heard it from me. We're going. They're going to come and say, oh, look, you guys don't know what you're doing. You're just about on the edge of nuclear war. And you know, you got politicians, and we own them. We've anal probed them all. Hey, you know, that carrot head guy, you know, I mean, we're getting sick of him because he keeps knocking on the door to get anal probed. I don't know. I mean, we're a superior race, you know, just because we got cone heads and we wear white sheets, you know, that says KKK, you know. But we got superior technology over you. So, you know, you've been doing what we've been telling you to do since we made you in the gooey swamp. After we precipitated massive war in your solar system and wiped out the sophisticated culture that you had, that the Greeks just kind of mentioned a little bit, and so did the, you know, Norwegians and the Romans, all those gods up in the clouds, you know, and they were just, you know, guys from other planets, you know. Venus used to be a really nice place until we turned it into a sulfur dioxide microwave oven. And we're doing that to you, global warming. Hey.
President Volodymyr Zelensky in addressed Ukraine's parliament. Trudeau pledged $500 million in new military aid and said he would support Ukraine's bid to join NATO during the alliance's July summit in Vilnius, Lithuania.
Canada and the others are very very supportive of Ukraine joining NATO when the conditions allow. What that exactly looks like is a conversation we're continuing to have between now and Vilnius, but I'm very
That boy's walking dead.
very positive about it.
Cruz said people could still be trapped under rubble. Ukraine's military, meanwhile, says it's retaken 7 settlements in the Donetsk and Zaporizhia regions in a counteroffensive over the past week.
Ukraine's take back 3 little towns. Russia devastates the
in
city.
Germany. The military
Major city.
alliance says some 10,000 personnel from 25 countries are taking part in drills involving 250 warplanes. Non-NATO
We
nations
are
Japan
on
and
the
Sweden
edge
are
of total nuclear
Workings
annihilation.
opened as French President
That's
Emmanuel
nothing
Macron
compared to
welcomed German Chancellor Olaf Scholz.
Introducing Trex Transcend Lineage, the next generation of design and performance.
Wasn't that the house you want to live in?
Available in 4 on-trend colors. Find Lineage at your local Trex dealer.
Yeah. You'll be able to afford that working here at Shithole Barrel. Ooh-de-doo-de-doo-de-doo. So, Trump's going to be the Republican, right? Because the Republican Party, the guy who has the most votes, just by one, is their candidate, right? So basically, there's now about 12 guys who are going to run, right? So Mike Pence coming in, he guarantees all evangelicals will vote for Mike Pence, right? And so, but Donald Trump has close to somewhere between 12 and 20 million Republican voters, his base, that will vote for him, right? And this whole thing of him being brought into court is like $1 billion worth of free publicity. All you hear is Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. So, and the other guys will pick off a few votes here and there. So Donald Trump will be the unanimous Republican candidate, right? And what's really interesting is JoJo, the used car salesman, is more right to Donald Trump. Okay, honey bun, you got a great smile. Yes, you're just so sweet. And, she's the floor manager. You got to do that to keep them away. It's like bug spray, right? You got a pretty mouth. So, Donald Trump's going to be Republican. JoJo, if he survives, if he can live another 16 months, he'll be the Democrat. The guy trips. He keeps falling over stuff. Who in their right mind would put a sandbag on a stage right in front of him, right? It's just a warm-up for him. Whoops, right out the window of that 16-story building. What happened? There was a sandbag there. He tripped over it, went right out the window. And you know who's going to be vice president? Not Kamala Harris. Well, she may still be. I was thinking more like Michael Obama. Michelle, my Michael, you got junk in that trunk. Ooh. And I think that team is kind of this way. You know what I mean? And so remember, this is all stand-up comedy. Don't take a word I say. This is my First Amendment right to make fun of everything, even myself. Look at me. If I'm not a funny guy to laugh at, I don't know what is. Do. No one's watching. 9 minutes, 20 seconds into the show. Okay. Let's reach out. Nah, they're boring too. Let's see. Yeah.
Seniors don't have to worry about paying for dental visits ever again.
Why not?
Thanks to this new 2023
they look for UFOs. In the closet, under the bed.
The truth is out there. We're going to need to look harder. This is what NASA said at its first public meeting on UFOs, a briefing that no one ever expected.
There's a real stigma among people reporting events.
Who this
And
guy?
despite NASA's extensive
This guy's
efforts
total
to reduce
CIA.
this, the origin of the UAPs remain unclear, and we feel many events remain unreported.
This is the same space agency that has spent decades debunking UFO sightings. So why isn't somebody talking about them? Brings us to the question, are UFOs real? Is there truly life beyond Earth? Are we not alone in this big, wide universe?
Oh, give me a
Why should
break.
we care?
Aliens, the stuff we see in our skies, they are not ours. The guy who saw the first flying saucers, what he saw was, the Harner brothers, Hanaboos, they look like boomerangs, basically, right? And they were Nazi, right? So most of that technology is Nazi. The Hanabu is a anti-gravity device, which people were screwing around with in the 1870s, right? There was a California group that came from Germany called the, something aerial phenomena club, right? So, and they would fly all over like Kansas and, Nebraska and land in little towns and get out in their Ludenhoser and give everyone some schnitzel, So, all you have to do is a little bit of homework. It's all kind of there. It's disappearing because everything's being digitized. And I live in old towns that still have microfiche. I live in one town that was I will not mention its name because someone will go burn it, get rid of this information. But it was a old, in every county or so, or in every state has, a number of what are known as federal depositories, not banks, but of information, right? So they spread it around. It kind of started in the late 50s with nuclear war. Let's spread our information around and put it on microfiche. And it's microdots, these little teeny dots that have like 20,000 documents on them. This is way before computers. So there are a lot of those still out there. Go find them. And what's really interesting, they had access to that, so they had access to technology. So they took all of the old newspapers that they had in box and microdotted them. And that's where you in Ohio, Pennsylvania, there are little towns where, they were digging coal mines and they came across underground. And so in a coal mine, they come to these gigantic openings. They call them mezzanines, but they're gigantic, size of football stadiums, right? And, fissures in the you go down about 900 feet and then start going into the coal. They bang out into these gigantic open things. And I use, this is great. We can store stuff here. Equipment and this and that. They build like little hospitals and towns. And that's where they got the idea for dumps, because they would bump into these things as soon as they started coal mining in a serious way, like in the 1830s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. So, that's my third cup of coffee, and I feel nature calling, so I am going to basically give you an image of isn't that beautiful? I'll be right back. Ooh, I'm back. Home with Larry. So it's going to be a replay of the last election. And Donald Trump will destroy, let's see, just doing Baba say that in the gross physical reality, they're as good as dead, yes, compared to the reality until we achieve aim of life to love God. Yep, baby. The goal of all life is to become God. And you know, I would say God's love. Let's say that. The goal of all life is to become God's love, not God, but God's love. Right? So, words are powerful, in my novels. Jamie, have I sent you any of my novels? Do you have Google Docs? If you do, send me a email at thedudewake42@gmail, and I'll send you some of my novels. That all of them talk about that. So 21 and 37, 38, 39. So yes, that's what's going to happen. And so the aliens that we're going to war with are basically, I stated, there is no soul that is not destined for the goal. Yes, exactly. Everyone's getting on the bus and going home. Might take a while, but hey, we got all the time in the world. Saying that it doesn't exist, the only moment we have is right here, right now. This second thing. That's why I do this show, because it's going out in the World Wide Web, and whether people know it or not, it's affecting them, right? And so that's my job. It's keeping the peristalsis, the balance, the homeostasis. So Jamie, send me an email. I'll do that. Good. Okay. See, he answers the question before I even ask him. And do it now because I'm here at the old internet and I can send it to you before I leave. Let's see, how are we doing for juice? Oh, we're doing great, and it's still early. Lunchtime ain't even here yet. So those are two issues. Let's see what Amy's going on about. Oh, this is not Amy.
Hello and welcome. I'm Palki Sharma, and on this show, we'll try to read between the lines, the stated and the unstated, the obvious and the hidden, to bring you the full story.
I used to have a TV show called Between the Lines in 1974. I had 7 million people watching it, Manhattan cable TV.
July 2nd, 1947. It was a quiet night.
Mom's roof, over 7 years old, needed to be replaced in the middle of winter. She submitted her info on the website below and got a new metal roof for no cost up front, installed in one
night in Roswell, a quaint town in the U.S. state of New Mexico. But a loud noise broke the silence. A craft crashed at a ranch near the town. 6 days later, American forces made a shocking statement. They said they've recovered a flying disc from the ranch. The statement was soon retracted. They issued another statement. This time they said it was a weather balloon that had crashed. In fact, the government changed its story a few more times, which led to rumors. Some said it was a UFO. Others insisted they saw bodies of aliens. Either way, it became America's most infamous UFO incident. It inspired books, movies, a TV series based on the town, and even a saucer-themed McDonald's. The government may say aliens are not real, but the obsession with them is definitely real. Take movies, for example. There's E.T., the story of a boy befriending an alien. Or Men in Black, a top-secret organization that monitors alien activity. Halloween costumes, Facebook groups, and even pages dedicated to prove aliens are in fact real. The United States has an unhealthy obsession, and no, it's not burgers, it is aliens or extraterrestrial life. But where did this obsession begin? And how are UFOs a part of this? Once again, we'll rewind to 1947. A pilot named Kenneth Arnold was flying his plane. Soon he took a detour to search for a downed aircraft. Arnold clearly did not find that plane, but what he did spot was a fleet of saucer-like aircraft.
They weren't saucer.
According to him, they were speeding across the sky. The next day, the term flying saucer was in the papers. This was the origin of modern UFO lore. Session begin. And how are UFOs a part of this? Once again, we rewind to 1947. A pilot named Kenneth Arnold was flying his plane. Soon he took a detour to search for a downed aircraft. Arnold clearly did not find that plane. What he did spot was a fleet of saucer-like aircraft. According to him, they were speeding across the sky.
Like
the next day, the term
F-117s.
flying saucer was in the papers. This was the origin
Like I said, the
of
Armor
modern
Boys.
UFO lore.
flying wings.
What exactly is a UFO? UFO stands for Unidentified Flying Object, an aerial phenomenon that you cannot really explain. Americans could not explain it, so they decided to investigate it. Thus began Project Saucer. But the name did not seem to take off like UFOs, so the project was soon renamed. It was called Project Sign. It began in 1948 and ran for only 1 year. That's because of an internal split. One group thought UFOs were not real, the other thought they were too dangerous. Neither could agree with the other side, so the project failed. But this just underlines the government's obsession with aliens and UFOs. Alien talk is not just jargon here. It reaches the highest levels of the government, like the defense forces, even the Pentagon. In fact, the Pentagon has a UFO office. Imagine this, thousands of taxpayer dollars being used to figure out if aliens are real. If it was any other country, it would be a big joke by now, but not the United States. They and their government are invested in this. In fact, a US military base is synonymous with UFOs. It's called Area 51. This is a US Air Force installation in southern Nevada, a military installation in the middle of nowhere. In fact, it became so popular that thousands wanted to storm it. Of course, no aliens attended this event. And thankfully, no one broke into the base.
And Area 51 is just a smokescreen. The real facilities are, if you go to the Bermuda Triangle, just between Florida, Cuba, and Bimini, there is a massive undersea facility, right? And because, where do the aliens really hide? But in the ocean, since it's like 90% of our planet, and it can go really fast underwater, not like our submarines, right? Because they have this little dimensional bubble around their ship, so there is no friction, and zip, it just slides right through the water, right? So, and I've had loads of friends who are in the Navy, who are on board ships, who are late at night on watch and see gigantic things coming out of the ocean, out in the middle of nowhere. So, I mean, there is a breakaway civilization, and they say if you were to go breakaway civilization, you would get this guy's YouTube channel. I forget his name. I know him pretty well, and I forget everyone's name. It's a thing I trained myself to do. So if I would be taken and try to be mind screwed, they couldn't get much out of me. They can't get much out of me, no. I got no teeth. I told you the gum. I'm a gummy. That's why my teeth are regrowing. That's like that. Anyway, so there you are. Because wherever you go, there you are. So let's see. It's their last card to play, and it'll fail completely because they're hanging on by their fingernails, right? But they have pretty much mind wiped the planet, and pretty much everyone's pissed off. So pretty much everyone's gunned up. We've had so many wars. I mean, all the war in Ukraine, only about a third of the stuff we're sending to them is making it to the field. The rest is going out across the planet. They found some of those Javelin missiles that cost 70, 80 grand a pop in Mexico, being wielded by drug cartels. You know, that kind of tells you know, rips it. And so, how you doing? What do you think? Right. So, Jamie, what strange things in the skies? You live out in the middle of nowhere, where there's, you have pretty clear skies, right? No big factories nearby you, no big box stores with gigantic parking lot lights. You no big jails with searchlights. You kind of live out there in the in a place where, like me, where the sky is clear. Except when they set fire to a whole country, so it will darken everyone's sky. But where I'm at, it's quite interesting. The air moves in strange ways around me, so my air is still the quality, just mine. My next door neighbor, he's breathing sulfur dioxide and lead, where mine air is pure oxygen, nitrogen, a little bit of a few other goodies, and an overpowering scent of honeysuckle. I had negotiations with Mr. Bear, and so he's said that he won't rip the place apart again. He tried to have sex. Colonel Sanders murdered his wife and children, so he's pissed off. So he was really horny. He got into some hooch, and so a little drunk, and so he tried. My Kia looked a lot like his wife, so we tried to have sex with it last week. So luckily, he only broke off the back windshield wiper that stopped working, and ripped off a few other things that didn't matter. You can't really tell unless you look close. I mean, he could have, the side of my car and broken all the windows, but he didn't. He just put his paw prints on everything. Big paw prints were bigger than my friggin' hand. So he said he would try better. He said that's why he didn't destroy the car. He was crying. He was upset. He wanted to have sex with his wife, and my Kia looked closest. And then he realized it was my Kia, and so after he broke, he got his fingernail caught on the rear windshield wiper that didn't work, and so So, but I would say the thing is going to happen before 4th of July. They made that movie, Independence Day, for a reason, And what will happen is, so the baddies that have been here forever, I mean, every war, everything, every jump in technology was either given by the baddies or the goodies, right? And back, a few eons ago, Babylon, the goodies were trying to enlighten the Babylonians, and that's when the false flag of the blowing up of the tower happened, and everyone was thrown into no longer having telepathy, or forgetting they could have telepathy. Right? So the written word, which is a lie and a spell, was brought to humanity, and the show went on. So we had war. All those wars are like the ever-ready batteries for the baddies, and also the goodies, right? Because they're the same guys, good cop, bad cop. So on Independence Day, the baddies are going to come out. It's going to and take over the TV and say, "Hey, kids, here's a little disclosure for you. We own you. Every one of your politicians for the last 3,000 years has sold you down the river." That's what Moses, he was literally sold down the river, right? So the jig is up. Everyone who signs on gets, joins up for the club, and the club is CBDC, centralized CD, centralized digital banking currency. Yeah, that's CDBC, right? Central, and the Fed has already got it hooked in, ready to go, and that's all the cash will go. You know, they'll keep dollar bills, pennies, nickels, dimes, you know, tens, 20s, and that's it. No 50s, no Benjamins, nothing bigger, right? So, you know, you want to buy a beer too, you don't, you know, but basically, you will have your face, and that will be. I mean, they won't print anymore. Whatever's ever out there, it'll be there, and it's like I'm sure there's a button they can push, and the cash will dissolve, right? So the basic dynamic is your face will be your credit card. No chips, no 666, no barcode on your wrist or your forehead. Your face, right? Facial recognition, right? You walk into a store, won't be anybody working there, right? The trucks that will drive themselves will pull up to the supermarket. The side of the truck will lift, and the shelves themselves will be brought down to the road level and will bring themselves into the store and go right to where the shelves that just have a few items left on them. It will pull out, and this one will go in. There you go. So nobody needs to stock it. No one needs to be there. Nobody needs to open up. And it'll be so environmentally sound. Everything will be run by batteries, and it will cut the boxing up of stuff by a zillion percent. It'll be so sustainable, but nobody will work there, right? No, and there will be no cashiers. You'll go in, you walk in, right? And if the system says, yeah, he's okay, you'll be able to walk in. If not, you'll be vaporized in the cubicle, right? Assimilated, right? And so that'll keep the tweakers out, because they are not on the list. So they walk in, like, go on. So no more jails. Do anything wrong, you get assimilated, right? At the supermarket, I'm just going in for a few beers. Look, I got a $5 bill. So go in, and if you get in without getting assimilated, because you got a $5 bill, you won't be able to get a bag, right? The machine won't give you a bag. You can hit that button all the time, no bag. Without a bag, you can't carry anything out. Sorry. And soon, once they really have disclosure, we will have Star Trek. We'll have the Federation running the planet, and we will just be a minor cue ball of the Federation. And you won't have to leave your house. You'll have the replicator right in your next to your lazy boy. Yo, Larry. All replicators will be known as Larry or Kenny or Billy or Tommy or Jimmy, Stevie, anything with Scotty, anything with a Y at the end. And so I want a cheeseburger. There it is. Gee, hot. Earl Grey. So and everyone will love it. It'll be so convenient. You'll get a nice little box to live in. Your feces will be, assimilated out of your body during sleep. And you'll have sexual stimulation and simulation. So everything will be hunky-dory, right? That's what will be offered to us by the banks. Now, the goodies will come down. No, you have free will. You can choose. We can't tell you what to do, but you can choose. You can join our federation. It'll be just like their federation, but instead of things on the right are black and things on the left are white, in our federation, everything on the right is white and everything on the left is black. And don't you forget it. That's a big difference. Hail Hydra. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Here we are moving on towards 40. Oh, there we go. 40 minutes on the clock. 40 minutes, 40 seconds. No, 4 seconds, right? I'm probably gonna zip out of here. What time is it? Oh, it's noonish. I'm gonna zip out of here and give up my real estate when it's 4 minutes, 44 seconds. I'll be going. And I'll come back again. It's like Lazarus coming back from the dead. Anyway. Oh, maybe I'll go earlier than later. Come on, put some on that PayPal. See what you can do. Okay, there we go. 4.